What's up, guys? It's Bilal from the Cinematic Boys podcast, aka MPK. I'm with my boy Dakota, and we have a special guest, being the lovely Katie. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Katie, or I go by Lilkatietv. I'm on TikTok. I do film reviews and report on movie news.
So, guys, today for our first review, we are doing Prisoners by Denis Villeneuve. So, first, we're going to go with our thoughts. Bilal, what are your thoughts about this movie?
My thoughts, I absolutely love this film. It's a very dark, gritty crime thriller, especially with the plot of a father having to lose his daughter and his friends, like daughter's friend as well. So having that element was super heartbreaking, especially when the father doing everything to get his daughter back. And there's so many intense moments that I really appreciate inside the film. The directing style for Denis Villeneuve was excellent, and Hugh Jackman's performance as the father inside this movie was out of this world. He definitely deserves more exposure for his performance inside Prisoners, because I think it's his best performance in my opinion. And Jake Gyllenhaal, he's always great in movies. He was awesome as a detective, being Detective Loki.
Katie, what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a thriller movie that was phenomenal in my opinion. Also, it was crazy kind of to see how all Hugh Jackman and sort of Hugh Jackman, Paul Dano, that cast is insane, and I feel like it's kind of cool to see that. I don't know. I just thought it was amazing. I thought it was phenomenal. I think it's one of those thrillers that not a lot of people know about, which they should, because it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It also keeps you kind of off track with who the person that you think stole the kids. So it's kind of like that thing. It kind of keeps you off the beating path, which I kind of liked. So yeah.
Yeah, so my thoughts are kind of like what Katie's is. And like Bilal's, I like the dark and gritty atmosphere. And one thing I've noticed about all Denis Villeneuve movies, there's a dark film to it. There's a dark grain to his films. Like this has it, Dune has it, Blade Runner 2049 has it. But kind of like what Katie was saying, throughout this movie, it bounces around you don't know who kidnapped the girls at all. And it kind of leaves you on your toes because you think it's this one person. When I found out, when they thought they got the guy, I looked at the runtime. I'm like, there's still an hour left. I'm like, there has to be some off with this. But overall, I think that's all our thoughts. So now we're getting to spoiler territory. So guys, if you guys haven't seen Prisoners yet, go watch the movie. Come back to the podcast or episode if you're on YouTube and watch the rest. So Bilal, what are your positives from this movie?
I love how the movie opens, where Hugh Jackman with his son and hunting down a deer. I thought that was really a great way to open up the film, and the way they slowly goes kids getting kidnapped in such a haunting way. And when you first see Paul Dano, he was actually really scary in this movie, because his googly eyes and the way he was just really terrifying overall. And just I feel like Denis Villeneuve saw Paul Dano in this movie and just saw Dan. I mean, not Paul Dano Villeneuve, but man, Matt Reeves saw Paul Dano during that movie and said that's my Riddler. But Paul Dano was terrifying inside this movie. But I just love that this movie makes you keep guessing on who kidnapped the daughters. But my favorite moment inside this film was definitely the hammer scene with Paul Dano and Hugh Jackman. Seeing the raw anger in Hugh Jackman's voice inside this movie was so so well written and so well acted. Hugh Jackman was absolutely phenomenal inside this movie, and I think he made his performance so believable as the father. And the movie has some really great symbolism, especially with the snakes. I feel like the snakes inside this film really showcase um, um the bad guys hiding the bad stuff around them, hiding the evidence from the police, which was really good.
Katie, what are your positives on this?
I thought a lot of it was pretty like, I don't know. There was very few negatives I saw in this movie, in my opinion. But I think one of the crazy parts is the fact that every actor did incredible in it too. And I just think it's crazy because Hugh Jackman was like full dad mode, like protective mode, but also like I really enjoy that thing of like he was, you know, is it okay for him to attack someone he genuinely thinks like stole his kids? Like, is that okay? Like, you know, it's like a moral thing. I feel like, you know, do you think that's a good thing? Like, do you think that's okay? Or like, I don't know. And I think it's really interesting because also Jake Gyllenhaal was just that connection. I don't know, that Jake Gyllenhaal was, you know, the cop, I think, right? I think he's the cop,
Detective
right?
Loki.
Yeah, the detective or whatever. And I think that relationship between him and Hugh Jackman's character was really interesting because it was like that, hey buddy, I'm kind of onto you, but also like, you know, what are you doing? Like kind of thing. And I found that to be really eerie and interesting. I also, yeah, I think it was that whole thing of like with Hugh Jackman being just insane. I don't know.
Yeah.
I loved how crazy the dude was in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, bro was, I don't know. He was just insane. And I loved it. I think that is one of my favorite Hugh Jackman performances, which is like a bold statement, but holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, for my positives, the acting in this was excellent. Hugh Jackman, like you said, goes dead mode. Like that scene with the hammer.
Yeah.
It shows like what if you're like have kids as a dad or like a mom, you will do anything for your kids, no matter what. And the cinematography in this is great. So you know, like the shot where he's in the shower and you can see Paul Dano's eye.
Yeah.
I thought that was great because it kind of reminds me of like the original Black Christmas, like when Billy would see the sorority girls through the house. So that brought me like a lot to that movie. But overall, Paul Dano, he is the Riddler all the way through. It doesn't matter, like I think what he plays. Like Matt Reeves probably saw this movie, and this seems so weird how Paul Dano in this movie could go from innocent to like telling you anything you want to, kind of like sick and twisted. But I don't know if that's from where they kept him all those years, because technically he is Barry, the first kid that went missing in the whole town, like the 27 years ago. If he developed that, or if he had that all along and they just brought it out of him. Yeah. And I like just overall this movie's good. The runtime, even though it was like 2 hours and 33 minutes, I think the runtime did justice to this movie.
Yeah. I feel like
it didn't need to be short or any longer.
Yeah.
I feel
what
like,
you supposed to say, Bo?
I feel like the runtime really used up the movie really well, especially the way the movie was written. They used every second of this movie and kept my attention from start to finish. I was like glued to my screen because how compelling the storytelling was. And also, you were speaking about Paul Dano. I also really like David. I cannot pronounce his last name.
David's Desmunchin.
Yeah, he was really good in this movie. He was scary in it. During the interrogation scene with Detective Loki, he was throwing the maze and eventually shot himself in the head. That scene had my jaw dropping. Also, shout out to what's her name? Melissa Leo, who plays Holly Jones, who was the person who was kidnapping all the kids. She was scary, really scary. Her performance was outstanding. It was insane.
Yeah, her performance was good too. But I just thought of something right now. Where's your guys' scene from this movie that stays in your head like all the time?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So for me, there's two. There's the scene with Hugh Jackman, of course, when he's hitting the sink. And two is when David Desmunchin shoots himself in the police station.
Yeah.
because it just like that, like it like sticks with you, and you could tell it bothered Detective Loki when he done it, because I don't know if he ever seen something like that before, and it was right in front of him, and he knew he screwed up when he done that, because he thought he was the person that killed the girls and took them. So because remember at the beginning of the movie, he was like he never lost the case; he always solved them. So he's thinking this is his first case that he's actually not going to solve at all.
Mm.
So, Bilal, what is your favorite moment?
My favorite moment is definitely the hammer scene with Paul Dano and Hugh Jackman, but a scene that I was like really edge of my seat was the scene where Detective Loki shots Holly and finds the Hugh Jackman's character's daughter, and the scene of him driving when it's just raining and it's just pouring and just driving the fastest as he could to the hospital. That scene was so incredible and so well shot.
Yes. And Kay, do you have a favorite moment?
I think it's the reveal of the who the killer was. Was that the mom of Paul Dano's character? I think, right?
It's the she's technically the mom, but she's the woman out of the
She
couple that took
kidnapped.
them.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's that reveal where Hugh Jackman's in the house and like I think I can't exactly remember how it went down, but like he turn around and like see her or something like that, and like he's in the house and like it's just eerie. Like it's just, and also I like the fact that I didn't see that coming like at all, which I loved, you know. And I love the fact that they were trying to make it so it was, oh, you're gonna be convinced that it's Paul Dano, you know. But obviously, like movie lovers know better, I feel like. But it's kind of interesting because yeah, I don't know, that one part I was like, I don't know, it was just creepy, you know. It was
Yeah.
just creepy, eerie, unsettling, weird, and I don't know why, but that specific scene where Hugh Jackman turns around and is in that house, I don't know. And then the whole ditch situation where she's
Oh
like basically
yeah.
making him do shit,
Oh,
Oh,
like
that's
she's making him do things, you know, and like go in the ditch. Like I can't imagine. Can you imagine like
yeah.
being like you can't do anything because you don't? Yeah. Oh, anyway.
Also, she shot like before he went and did. Holly did shoot Hugh Jackman's character in the leg, which
Right.
was like also shows how scary Holly is as a character. But like I said, Melissa Leo deserves a lot of like she she deserves a lot more praise for her performance because she was really good in it.
Wasn't Viola
like
Davis in it too?
Oh yeah,
yes, I didn't know that until I started watching the movie.
I
why
was gonna say that's one of her better performances, I'd say as
Oh yeah,
well.
another scene also is when she lets Paul Dano go. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? I'm like, why are you doing this? You think they took your daughters and you still gonna untie him? I'm like, and also, like you said, there was like so many red herrings of like pointing it towards Paul Dano. Like when Hugh Jackman is watching him outside walk the dog, and he just
Mhm.
picks up the dog by the leash.
Mhm.
yeah
But there
Yeah.
was a point though, I think in the movie, as like a big fan of like crime solving like shows, movies, and stuff, I always like pick out like who the person is. There was just that like a hunch and feeling in me that the mom or the woman was right by, like all over it, like over the whole entire thing. And also the poster, you see the Owen prisoners is the symbol, is the maze symbol. So when
Is the what symbol?
so you know the maze,
yeah the
that
maze. That's the
Oh,
oh yeah.
so when they went to the priest house and Jake Gyllenhaal saw the guy with the necklace, I'm like, this he has to be connected to it somehow. Then once
wow.
he found out, once Paul Demo mentioned the maze, I'm like, okay, he's connected to it. The woman said her husband died. I'm like, that's the husband down in the basement with the preacher.
Yeah.
And then Barry is Paul Dano, and she's over it also. That's
Yeah.
that's what brought all once Paul Dano mentioned the maze, it all started connecting right there.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
But,
cool. I
oh,
didn't notice that.
but is that it for most of your positives for you guys?
I think so.
I
But
think one more positive is, like I said, the symbolism with the snakes and maces was really well put together. Like that whole segment where Detective Loki finds local snakes when he's trying to find the evidence on who stole the daughters. I have a fear of snakes, and that scene made me jump. And the symbolism of snakes, of them hiding the evil, was really well put together, in my opinion.
Yes, I hate snakes too. That scene was it's like ugh.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
Um, but I think that's it mostly for the positives right now. Let's get into the negatives. If there's any negatives about this movie, because it's about perfect. Bilal, you got any
yeah,
negatives?
Man, top of my head, um, no negatives.
Yeah,
Maybe,
that's the problem.
yeah, that's the issue. It's
I
so
I
think
don't
well,
he
think there's
done
any
so good
negatives
with
in
it.
this movie.
like, is
Yeah.
They
this
just
movie?
did.
This movie's flawless in my eyes.
To be
Like,
honest, I had never said this. Only for one other movie. This could be 100 out of 100 if you do like 100 skill.
It could. I
So
believe
if we
it.
don't got any negatives, favorite moments. I know Bilal said a favorite moment. Do you got any other favorite moments except
Um, another favorite moment is like I did really like the bond. Like Katie said, the bond between Detective Loki and Hugh Jackman's character was really well. But I also like how crazy that Hugh Jackman's character went on his son during the end of the movie, sort of like that just shows that how much this moment really haunted Hugh Jackman's character and pushed him to the edge, especially with him treating his son poorly at that moment as well. So it really shows that he's like slowly losing himself because of this situation.
that? And what was another favorite moment for me? There was one. It just like slipped out of my head. Katie, do you have any more?
I think I think another one was Viola Davis. I think going down and like talking to Paul Dano's character was pretty intense, and I know she's like, I think she's begging and crying like for
Yeah,
him to confess pretty much, and I thought that moment was pretty insane and intense, and I really liked it because it was kind of that moment of like, oh my gosh, like okay, what, like that was a moment that I was like, oh my god, like what if Paul Dano actually did this kind of thing? Like I was like, oh my god, what if it happened?
Yeah.
Basically, a grieving mother, like the way she was bawling her eyes out to this man who, like, if he stole the kids, like how can you not confess, kind of thing. I don't know. I thought it was a really intense moment that was just perfect in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
that. And I think another moment is like when Terrence Howard figures out that Hugh Jackman has Paul Dano in their old apartment house.
Yeah.
Because every time he goes back,
Yeah.
he don't want to do this. And especially like with when Viola Davis finds out, and once they put him into the shower, and Hugh Jackman gives him the hammer, is like, if you want it, you can open it. I'm gonna be out here though. It's your decision.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good moment. Yeah.
Also, the
That's
moment where they find Terrence Howard's and Viola Davis' daughter, that was a really cool moment because even when they find the daughter, Hugh Jackman's character still asking the little daughter questions about finding his own daughter. Shows how desperate the character is too.
But I think that's mostly our favorite moments. So, what did you guys think about the ending of this film? Below,
Um, like I said, the ending of Hugh Jackman being on the ditch could be an open ending. Like he could be, Detective Loki could potentially find him. It's like an open ended ending where anything could happen. You could just like use your own imagination to figure out what actually happens because it kind of does end in a cliffhanger in that sense. But like the way that was set up was so well executed but also just love that scene, the driving scene, the end with Detective Loki just go to the hospital. I think that scene is so special. I said that scene like 3 times already.
Katie, what do you think about the end?
I mean, I like that cliffhanger though. I think that's genius because, like, I mean, I know like sequels people don't want it, but that'd be really interesting if there was a sequel to Prisoners 2. Like, if they did do a sequel, I think that'd be really interesting to explore because I think it could be a prequel, right? Like, we could maybe see what happened to the mom or something like that.
Ooh.
But yeah, like, see like what actually happened, like how all the things that she did with sick person, right? But it'd be kind of interesting. So yeah, no, I liked that mystery. I loved the ending, really.
Okay, the ending before before like the very ending. So when he was fighting with the mom, like Hugh Jackman, I love that part. Jake Gyllenhaal's part, I love the very ending when he's standing there, hears the whistle, and it turns black. Pisses me off. I need the ending. It's like, for me, I think if I don't have an ending, like, this is a good movie, but we need to know, like, did he find him? Like, he just stares at the car, but does he know, like, he's exactly right there at the car, though? Or is he just out there somewhere? And like Katie said, it could be, they could have a prequel of, like them taking Barry and stuff, like, raising him to become, like, this sick and twisted, like, person just to get the kids to bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
Or do a sequel and kind of see how this affects, especially like Hugh Jackman's characters, like mental health, because I think he was down there like a day or two with nothing, just except that little light in his hand and that whistle, and how it affects the girls. And overall, I think this is just a really good movie. Oh, okay. Where does this rank for in like your Denis Villeneuve like movies that you have seen? Katie, you can go first.
Okay, so to be honest, I think the only other one I've seen was Dune. So, and I'm not super into directors, so I haven't like seen all his movies, but I mean, out of the ones, like, I don't know, what other movies has he done? Like, all like
Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner,
Okay.
Sicario, Enemy.
Okay, I guess I'll say number one because I haven't seen any of his other ones.
Bilal, what about for you?
For me is either 2 or 3. It's between Prisoners, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049. I think all those 3 movies are masterpieces. But right now, I think it's top 3 for sure for me. I think for me goes Blade Runner, Arrival, then Prisoners, but it's still a phenomenal movie.
So I haven't seen Blade Runner for like 3 years, so it's not like really caught up with me yet. But like Dune, I love Dune. But this movie, I think this movie might be number 1. I think the problem with Dune is, I think once part 2 comes out and can connect the story together, it might bounce it up. But of course, like, we get like, I don't know, he might be just the director that just loves to leave movies in the open ended. He done it with Dune, now he does it with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of his style, to be fair, but Daniel Villeneuve, he's such a great director. Like, every time I see a film of his, it's always like a cinematic masterpiece, like, especially with the cinematography. Like, Prisoners have great cinematography. We haven't talked about the score of Prisoners. The score was
good.
Score was really great. It really built up suspenseful moments really well as well, and that's something that I just thought about top of my head just right now. But like I said, Denis Villeneuve is such a phenomenal director. I think he is my favorite working director right now.
So for me, I like Bilal said, I really like the score. It has good elements to this movie, like gives you suspense. But I think that just wraps it up mostly with our everything. But there's one more thing I want to tell you guys. So I looked this up while you guys were talking. This movie didn't get an Oscar nomination at all at the Oscars in
That is
2014.
That's
that is
stupid.
wild for me. That is crazy. Hugh Jackman most definitely deserves an Oscar. Like, hold on.
What were
let me
do you remember what the Best Actor nominations were
Let me look
Best
up to
that year?
Best Actor 2020, not 2024, 2014, obviously. Why must I? I know Matthew McConaughey won for Dallas Buyer Club.
So just
Oh.
some of them is I think let me look.
I was Christian Bale for American Hustle, Bruce. I don't know how to say his last name. Leo, and then the person from 12 Years a Slave. I feel like Hugh Jackman could just sneak in for Bruce, and that'll be good.
True.
What movie was Bruce in?
Nebraska.
Nebraska, where you're from.
That's funny.
Then who was supporting? Of course, I don't know. I think Jake Gyllenhaal could got supporting.
Oh, for sure.
Jake Gyllenhaal always gets nominated. It's crazy to me.
So, Jared Leto won that year. Oh my goodness.
For what?
No,
Dallas Buyers Club?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then some of the others is Michael Fassbender for 12 Years a Slave, Jonah Hill for Wolf of Wall Street, and Bradley Cooper for American Hustle.
Probably Cooper again.
Okay, Gyllenhaal could have definitely gotten that.
Jake
Yeah,
Gyllenhaal.
especially over Hill. Let's see what else. Original score, Gravity, Her. Wait, who won Best Picture that year? That's so 12 Years a Slave won Best Picture, and the director from Gravity won. So I'm thinking you could take Alexander Payne directs Nebraska though. So
Heck yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah, they had some good nominations. So they got the director of Gravity, David O. Russell directed American Hustle, so Alexander Payne directed Nebraska, Steve McQueen directed 12 Years a Slave, and of course, Scorsese directed The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Prisoners could have definitely gotten a nomination, I feel like.
Yeah.
So Best Picture, it could have. Yeah, I think it could got Best Picture.
But guess what? The Oscars don't like scary movies or like thrilling movies like that, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
No, you know what gets me? Captain Phillips was nominated that year for Best Picture, but not this.
That's stupid.
And Captain Phillips is kind of like a thriller movie.
I wonder, maybe it was that thing, like they didn't do enough like campaigning or marketing for it for the Oscar. I'm wondering. I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I want to see. Let's see.
You know.
So
what month did Prisoners come out in though? That's the good question.
So question. Who do you think is going to win an Oscar first? Hugh Jackman or Jake Gyllenhaal?
Probably Jake.
I think I've seen better performances from Jake. Like, I hate to say that, but like I just think I don't know why. I just think Jake is gonna get it. I don't know. I think I've seen a lot of diverse roles that Jake has played. I know Hugh Jackman has too. But also, did y'all ever? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So it was released on September 20th, 2013. So it had the time to get recognition.
Yeah.
It's like the Iron Claw for this year.
Oh no, we're not going to talk about that. That makes me bad.
The next podcast.
Sorry. Sorry.
Next podcast episode between me and Dakota is going to be a huge rant on the Oscars. I can already tell right now.
There you go. Sorry about that.
But what you were saying, Katie, before I interrupted you?
I think I said, did y'all see Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Oh yeah,
yes, I love Southpaw.
I love that movie, yeah.
That I think is the best performance I've ever seen of him. In my
did he get nominated for anything in that?
No.
For me, Nightcrawler. I'd still think Nightcrawler's best.
He's good, Nightcrawler too.
That's good too. I just think Southpaw was like something I've never seen him do, like ever.
Or the scene with him and Rachel McAdams after she gets shot.
Yeah.
Someone posted that on TikTok the other day. I'm like, I forgot about this. I'm like,
That's so
I'm like,
mean.
really?
Don't
I'm
post
like,
that.
really? I forgot about that scene.
That seems horrible. Oh, terrible.
So let's see. So in the what's it? The Academy Awards is the Oscars, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Gyllenhaal has only got one nomination
What was it
in his
for?
whole career. Let's check that out real quick.
What?
Best Supporting Actor for Brokeback Mountain.
That's it?
Wow.
That's it.
That's weird. I'm sorry. That's weird. I'm really shocked
The-
by that.
Yeah,
There's probably, but the sad part is there's probably multiple actors that like you love, that have had such a massive career. I mean, think about like Johnny Depp, right? Like he doesn't
Yeah.
have an Oscar. I mean, I'm sure he's been nominated, but
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, yeah, crazy.
I can't believe this got no Oscars at all.
Maybe it did
Wow.
it anything for like award season, like Golden
Okay,
Globes?
let me look that up. I hope it won at least some Golden Globes. So Prison.
Maybe it just got like skipped for Oscar season that year. I don't know.
Prisoners Awards. Full awards and nominations. So it got nominated at the Critics' Choice Award for Best Cinematography.
That
For
counts.
what category was it?
Best Cinematography.
Okay, that's something.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
At least it's something.
Wait, okay, so I don't know if this is true. So if this is true, it did get an Academy Award nomination. And Google's just lying to me for Best Cinematography also, but it only got a nomination, didn't win it.
Damn.
But that's mostly,
really
I think. Yeah, that's because I don't see nothing for the Golden Globes right now.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a Denis Villeneuve's like first American release though. Because I think all of his other stuff is like foreign films wise. So I think that is so. Like everyone saw Prisoners. I think since like his other movies like Arrival, Blade Runner, that stuff. I think then he got his traction. And of course, like I don't know. I think he got nominated for Dune.
He did for Best Picture, I think.
Yeah, you did.
But I think that's the thing. He got his like step into like American Hollywood film industry. Then of course, I think it just like snowballed. But why this has to be your first movie? But it showed like Hollywood, like this dude can make movies.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
But is that it for you guys? Just for the episode of Prisoners, or do you guys got anything else?
Yeah. I think that's it. How about you, Katie?
No, I'm good. It's just a phenomenal movie that I think people need to watch. I think is it still on Netflix?
At least February 9th.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's such a good thriller movie. I can't believe more people don't talk about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Bilal right before we went live, I'm like, I'm mad I didn't watch this like beforehand.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago. I'm like, this is such a good movie.
It's so good.
Dakota, you're in for a treat because you haven't seen Sicario yet or An Arrival. Those two movies are something else as well.
Okay, so now getting into what's for the future of Cinematic Boys reviews. First of all, thank you, Katie, for joining us for episode 1.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So right now for episode 2, of course, these will be releasing every Friday. So our theme for right now until Dune Part 2 comes out, we're going to do Denis Villeneuve movies every week. So this week's Prisoners, next week for episode 2, we will be doing Enemy. So guys, with that being said,
back changing Hall movies.
Oh yeah, true. I haven't thought of that. So guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and we'll see you guys next Friday. I'll see you, Katie.
See ya, Katie.
See ya.
And I'll see you, Bilal.
See ya, MBK out.